Hello again, everyone, and welcome back to Reddit Aliens. I'm John, and as always, thank you so much for being here. Straightforward topic, one of our favorites. Let's do it. What is a terrifying fact? Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. The CIA's Operation Northwoods proposed that CIA operatives should commit acts of terrorism upon the US to blame Fidel Castro for justifying a war against Cuba. This was rejected by JFK. We know about this because this got declassified. Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease, mad cow, can lie dormant for more than 50 years, is universally fatal, and is inheritable. There's no cure. One genuinely terrifying fact is the concept of antibiotic resistance. Bacteria can evolve to become resistant to antibiotics, the drugs we use to treat bacterial infections. Overuse and misuse of antibiotics can speed up this process, making previously treatable diseases difficult or even impossible to cure. According to the World Health Organization, antibiotic resistance is one of the biggest threats to global health today, potentially leading to a future where simple infections could once again become deadly. People who have Neanderthal DNA tend to have a gene variant that allows for better coagulation. Great for fighting woolly rhinos, less so when it starts misfiring and giving you random blood clots, requiring emergency surgeries. Assuming you live in a structure that can burn, a fault in your electrical system can burn your house down at any moment. I grew up in a neighborhood of older houses, several of which burned to the ground, usually during the overnight hours. The cause of almost all of them was electrical. There is a species of caterpillar, Big Blue, out of Great Britain, I believe, that tricks ants into thinking it's an ant queen in distress. The ants take this caterpillar back to the nest, where the caterpillar continues acting like a queen, but devouring all the ant larvae. This destroys the ant colony from the inside. There are some studies that can point to this species actively finding which larva will eventually become the next queen and devour those larvae first. There are such things as rogue planets just flying through space and not orbiting any star. If one were to pass through our solar system, it could easily nudge the Earth out of its orbit, and we'd either fry or freeze, and there's nothing we could do about it. Sun eruptions happened before and lead to blackouts across several continents. All fun and games in the 19th century, today it could easily kill millions, and it could happen any hour. Mad cow disease in Britain came from infected beef. People would see symptoms a few months after eating the infected meat. Doctors, however, discovered that those people showing symptoms relatively soon after eating the meat had a specific gene makeup. There's another specific gene makeup, however, that will only show symptoms after a couple of decades or more, meaning there are people walking around with mad cow disease that don't know it yet until the symptoms will start to show, by which time it'll be too late. The Earth was around billions of years before we were, and is indifferent to our survival. There have been multiple mass extinctions in the past, and we shouldn't feel any safer. The only difference is we've advanced far enough to the point that we'll probably know in advance when our species is going to go extinct. There is an estimated 360,000 sperm whales alive and well in the ocean at this time. They're also predators of giant squid, by the way. If they eat one giant squid a month, then the giant squid population consumed yearly must be over 4.3 million. If the number is 1 per week, then the consumed population would be over 18.7 million, just being consumed. Evidence suggests, though, that they eat even more than that. It shows that 1% of the 700 to 800 squids a female sperm whale eats each day, and the 300-400 a male eats each day, are giant squid. Okay, get ready to be absolutely shocked. If this is true, that means that the insane number of 3.6 million giant squids consumed per day and a total of 131 million giant squids per year. 131 million is the estimated amount of giant squids that are just eaten on a yearly basis, which means their actual population is much, much larger. You know, I was reading this and the whole time I was waiting for some type of sperm whale punchline or something, but you're just talking about a lot of squids. Cool. Vacuum decay in space is possible and would have no warning. You could have rabies right now. You won't know until you start showing symptoms. Then, it's too late. The only disease that fits all the symptoms of long COVID is prodromal Parkinson's. Hisashi Ohachi was kept alive by any means necessary for 83 days after exposure to fatal levels of radiation. Scurvy at advanced stages can make all of your scars reopen because maintaining them is an active process that your body does all the time, and when it can't produce collagen, it stops. Maybe eat some fruit. If a single subatomic particle decides to quantum tunnel into a vacuum decay state, the entire universe will be destroyed as a sphere that expands at the speed of light, rips everything it comes across apart. Space is expanding at a rate faster than the speed of light. One day, only our local group of galaxies and celestial bodies will be visible, and then one day our galaxy will be all alone in a pitch-black void. Any new intelligent life will believe that their own galaxy and all that it encompasses is the only celestial body to exist in the vast universe. Every vital service you rely on is maintained at a minimum cost by the often unvetted contractor who said they could do it the cheapest. The fact that we know more about outer space than our planet's deep oceans is unsettling. There are countless mysteries and potentially terrifying discoveries awaiting beneath the ocean's depths. That we need to work for 11 months to get 1 month off in a whole year. That most of the people need to work at a shitty job until they retire and then struggle to survive on a small retirement. I mean, a bunch of shit of that is terrifying. Billionaires don't pay taxes, etc. Yeah, who made these rules up? You know, when you write it out like that, it really makes you wonder, right? What about the ones like people I know, or even me, that have 3 or 4 or 5 jobs? Doesn't seem right. A person eats, on average, 2 pounds of flies, maggots, and other bugs each year. According to Scientific American, a cup of raisins can have up to 33 fruit fly eggs. Fig paste is allowed to have up to 13 insect heads in 100 grams. Up to 5 fruit flies is allowed in an 8-ounce cup of canned fruit juice. 1 maggot is allowed in every 250 milliliters of fruit. Up to 2,500 aphids are allowed in every 10 grams of hops. Spinach can have up to 50 aphids, thrips, or mites per 100 grams. Broccoli can contain insect fragments and even whole insects. Up to 1 kilogram of insect parts is allowed in 100 kilograms of chocolate. Up to 19 maggots and 74 mites are allowed in a 3.5-ounce can of mushrooms. Up to 15 fruit fly eggs are allowed in 100 grams of tomato sauce. The 10 hottest years on record have all been since 2010. We're not only going to see a catastrophic 2-degree warning this century, we're probably going to see more than that. The absolute worst part? Even with 0 net emissions by 2070, we will still probably see 2-degree warming. The time for acting to prevent catastrophe was over maybe 20 years ago. We're living in a time of disaster management. I was in a meeting with the world leader of orangutan conservation, and he stated as a fact that they had 10 years left in the wild, and if something doesn't drastically change, they will be functionally extinct in a decade. Getting less than 7 or 8 hours of sleep a night F's up your body much more thoroughly than anyone assumes. It increases the risk of just about any health problem you can imagine, from obesity to Alzheimer's to heart disease, significantly, and impairs basically everything your brain does. Also, your brain is physically incapable of realizing the extent of sleep deprivation. So, if you're one of those people who can manage on 4 to 5 hours a night, you're probably not actually. This is just a narrator's add-on here. How about the fact that collectively, whether we are conservative or liberal or left or right or neutral, that we've all somehow accepted the fact that we know Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself, yet we just accept it. And there are lists out there that could probably imply a lot of world leaders and powerful, influential people, and we just keep watching Sports Ball and the Kardashians and any other fluff on the internet.